You said Matthew 16?
No, I'm saying Proverbs.
It's like, so we got Proverbs 16 and 32.
Mm-hmm. What does that say?
Proverbs chapter 16, verse 32. He that is slow to anger is better than the mighty, and he that ruleth his spirit than he that taketh a city.
That's 1 West, brother. He that controlleth his spirit is better than the mighty. He that is slow to anger is better than the mighty. So many times in Black and Hispanic culture, we believe it's a good thing to lose control. We believe it's masculine to lose control, when in actuality, it is not. If there's someone out there, or if you're the kind of person that loses control, that drinks too much, and now you argue and fight in bars, where you get angry, over a traffic, incident or a road rage incident, or you're someone who has very little patience with your wife and children, you have a weakness. You're not strong. It's not strong to lose your anger. It's effeminate and weak to lose your anger. So if you have a personal problem, start there. Start with controlling yourself with the small everyday things in life. Start there. You have a drug issue, you can't stop smoking. Well, focus your mind on stopping a small thing. Go on a fast and give up water for a day. Go on a fast and give up food for 2 days. You'll develop the strength to give up cigarettes, to give up alcoholism. Start somewhere. Well, start with your anger. If you're someone that loses your temper, you are weak. If you're someone that is slow to anger, you are strong. Read the next part.
Salaki, sir.
I believe you said, and he that controlleth his spirit is greater than he that taketh a city, correct?
Sir. And he that ruleth his spirit than he that taketh a city.
Yeah, and someone that can rule their spirit. That's the key. That is the key to so many personal problems. That is the essence of demonic possession. The essence of it is, I don't control myself. Once again, think about the brother's question. I have things, in essence, he's doing things that he doesn't want to do. He wants to stop, but he's doing them, but he doesn't want to do them. That has been all of us in times past. All of us doing things that we do not want to do, doing things that we hate doing. And many times we cannot do the thing that we want to do. So many of us want to come to class more, want to get involved in the work of the Lord more, want to go to college, want to go to school, want to do 1,000 things, but we don't do the things that we want to do, but we do everything that we do not want to do. What does that mean? There's someone else in charge of your decisions. Someone else chooses what you do. Well, where should we start? Control your own spirit. You're going to focus on yourself, and you're going to do the things that you want to do. And you're not going to do the things that you don't want to do. That's your goal. Because if you can do that, then you'll be greater than a man that can take a city. Imagine them down there right now in Iran trying to control cities and bombing cities to control them. None of them can control their anger. None of them can stop snorting cocaine. None of them can stop molesting children. They can't, and that's why their exploits fail every time, because the people that want to control the world can't control themselves. Well, Jesus Christ is putting men in charge that will control the world because they can control themselves. And you're going to start there. Everyone understands.
The brother said, sir, thank you, sir.
Yeah. Wherever you are.
Sir, another question in the comments. Addy P213 asks, Salaki, sir, I would like to know the meaning of 1 Corinthians 14 and 35. Does that mean if a wife can't learn from her husband, she does not deserve a name?
Let's hear it.
1 Corinthians chapter 14 and verse 35. And if they will learn anything, let them ask their husbands at home, for it is a shame for women to speak in the church.
Okay, it's not quite as your proposed synopsis of what this means. It's not quite that simple. Why? because there are women whose husband isn't, her husband is in the world. There are many women that unfortunately they're married to an idiot. They're married to someone that if they listen to him, they will spend all of the rent money on studio time. They'll spend all the rent money on gambling or Bitcoin or cocaine or pills or whatever foolishness that their husband is involved in. And he will demand that they do it like a pimp in the world who has a wife who obeys him, but in obeying him, she sleeps with other men. You see, so it's not as simple as just obey your husband. It matters about the kind of husband you have as well. That matters a lot. If you have a wicked husband, you cannot obey him, because in obeying him, you dishonor him. In obeying him, you prove him to be an evil leader. So disobeying him, in most cases, is the best thing you can do for him. If you disobey him, you'll pay the rent this week because you won't spend it on Bitcoin or cocaine or studio time. You'll love your husband more by disobeying him. So it's not as simple as that. But it absolutely does mean this. If your husband is a righteous man and is someone that should be obeyed, then absolutely, if you can't learn from him, then who in the hell can you learn from? You want to talk so much, learn from your husband, which is the point that Paul is trying to bring out. Paul is trying to bring out a situation where women are really coming to school to teach. That's why they're there. They're not there to learn. They come to teach. And many times they'll do it under the guise of, I have questions, but really they don't have questions. Their question is phrased as a lesson. I'll give you a few examples. Well, sir, is it true that a husband is supposed to pay all your bills? And if he doesn't pay all your bills, then who is he to tell you that you should obey him? I get those questions every week. There's really some woman that is actually trying to battle her husband, actually trying to teach him something by her question. And Paul, of course, is not slow to that. He's not slow to that. Really, this question is simply a way to embarrass her husband. We'll probably get one by tonight or next week. Some woman will say, well, is it true that if a husband, if he can't do what he's supposed to do, then how is he supposed to tell his wife what to do? Shut up. Shut your mouth. Go ask him that. Go ask him. Go ask your husband that question at home. Oh, you're not going to. I know you're not. Because really you want to teach. You don't want to learn. You want to teach. You only can choose a God that allows you to agree with yourself. That's the God you choose. The God in your own stupid head. Paul, of course, is wise to this. So he's talking to that sister. But if you're that kind of sister, learn from him. He's a wise man. Ask him that question. Ask him the question that you want to embarrass him to ask online, just so you can shame and embarrass him. That's the point, all right? Is there anything else?
Kind of. That's all on that. ISUBK Sat had a question. Salak, yes, sir. Can I get a breakdown on Revelations 20 and verse 7 through 8, Baba Kashah?
No problem.
Revelations 20 and verse 7. And when the 1,000 years are expired, Satan shall be loosed out of his prison and shall go out to deceive the nations which are in the four quarters of the earth.
This is biblical prophecy that was made back during the time of the Roman Empire, when the Roman Empire was the superpower on the planet Earth, and there was simply no defying Rome. All roads led to Rome. If you were somewhere in France, what is now called France, which it was that time called Gaul, or in España, which now is called Spain, right? Before you know it, if you disobeyed Rome, you'd see soldiers coming down those Roman roads to quell your rebellion, to destroy any thought that you could ever come against the Roman Empire. Well, during that time, the Apostle John in prison prophesied that Rome would fall, and through the fall of Rome, Blacks and Latinos would finally get to tell the truth about who they are. Because before that time, white supremacy was in control of the planet Earth, when the Roman Empire was in control of the planet Earth. And brothers like you and I, Blacks and Latinos, we were slaves, or we were gladiators fighting in some arena, fighting in Caesar's palace. That's who we are. That's who we were at that time. But John prophesied that the time would come when those lies would be trapped. white supremacy would be trapped. During that time, blacks and Latinos rose up in power and in great prominence all throughout Europe. The patron saint of the Catholic Church is Saint Maurice. That is who is the patron saint of the entire Catholic Church. His picture is hanging up in the Vatican today because that's the time when Saint Maurice was thriving and ruling and running, and his great courage was able to be spoken of. His great deeds of courage and wisdom were able to be touted all throughout the Roman Empire. And if you give blacks and Latinos a chance, a fair playing field, then we'll rule every country. That happened. That happened in Europe during the time of the Dark Ages. You can go get books like Nature Knows No Color Line and read about all of the black people. So Queen Charlotte is one of them, because I see they have a TV show. I see a commercial on my phone coming up for Queen Charlotte, who was a black woman. And many other blacks led countries like Aragon and countries all throughout Europe. Then the lies were released. Then the Renaissance came. The word Renaissance means rebirth. What is that? What is it the rebirth of? The rebirth of white supremacy. That's when the Renaissance artists like Michelangelo and Leonardo da Vinci and Goya all came up on the scene and began to illuminate the scriptures. Many of you have heard of the Illuminati. Well, the first Illuminati were the people that drew the pictures in the Bibles, and they called it illuminate. They were called the Illuminators. Look that up for me, Ephraim.
Okay.
I think they were either called the Illuminati. I think that's what they were called, the Illuminati. And they were the people who illuminated the scriptures because they would draw white pictures of the saints of God, draw white pictures of all of the biblical figures, and put them in the Bible. And they were called the Illuminati. And the act of drawing those pictures in the Bible was called illuminating the Bible. If you have it, Ephraim, you can put it up on the screen. Well, that is when that monster was let out of that cage. He was released. And now everyone in Europe who had one time heard of Saint Maurice and knew that their king was black, they didn't care about that back then. That meant nothing. That your king or your queen was dark skinned, it meant nothing at all. Nothing at all. But then what happened? Then the lies were released out of that cave, out of that prison. And then white supremacy in the Renaissance was able to take control of the planet Earth, and it has control unto this day. But the control is waning. White supremacy is finally weakening because we're coming upon the end of days. We're coming upon World War III and the end of Esau. The end of our oppressor is the beginning of Jacob, which cometh after. The Israelites will rule the next kingdom. So their white supremacy, or what is betterwise known as the American dream, is finally dying. People are waking up. People are waking up from the American dream, but it's been alive and thriving since the Renaissance. Everyone understands.
Okay. You got Chicago with us, sir.
Shot-town. Good to see you, Warriors. If you have any questions, please, you or Pittsburgh, please feel free to let me know, okay?
What kind, sir? You got a question? Sergeant General, if I may.
Please.
I have a question according to the book of 2 Kings, the 4th chapter. Let me bring it up right now for you, sir. It's in verse 41, dealing with the prophet Elisha. There was brothers that was eating some pottage, and I would like to know, according to the text, as far as what exactly did he put into the pot for brothers to be able to eat it and not get sick and die.
Let's hear it.
Come to God. This is 2 Kings chapter 4. I'm going to start at verse 38. And Elisha came again to Gilgal, and there was dearth in the land. And the sons of the prophets were sitting before him. And he said unto his servant, set on the great pot, and seeth the pottage for the sons of the prophets.
Say that one more time.
Set on the great pot.
Did you say set on?
great pot, sir.
What's the word you said before that?
Set on.
Set on, O-N.
Come to con.
Set on the great pot. Go ahead.
Set on the great pot and setteth pottage for the sons of the prophets.
Sorry. And setteth pottage. Where you at? Where are you reading from?
I'm at the end of verse 38, sir.
What chapter?
Chapter 4
What
in the
book?
book of 2 Kings.
The book of, let me catch up with you, all right? Bear with me, please. 2 Kings. Stand by. 2 Kings, what chapter?
Chapter 4, sir.
What verse?
At the end of verse 38.
One moment. Okay. End of 38. Yeah. We're sitting before, God was sitting before him, and he said unto his servants, set on the great pot and seethe pottage. That word is seethe, right? Seethe means to boil. That's what seethe means. It means to boil. All right.
Come to con, sir.
And seethe pottage for the sons of the prophets. Is that your question, or was your question something else?
My question is in verse 41.
He said, and bring meal, and he cast it into the pot, and he said, pour out for the people. They will eat, and there was no harm. Sorry, H-A-R-M, right? There was no harm in the pot. Is that your question? Is what does no harm in the pot mean, Vince?
My question is, what was it that Elisha cast into the pot for there to be no harm?
41, it said, bring meal, correct?
Come to con.
Meal is cornmeal. Cornmeal,
Okay.
you can buy that in the store today. It's grits, in essence. If y'all have grits down there in Chicago, that's a southern thing.
Come to con.
Cornmeal, you use cornmeal to make cornbread today, right? So in essence, a pottage is stew. That's what pottage is. It's called pottage because you make it in a pot. So a pottage is a stew. Remember back when Esau came in from hunting, back in the book of Genesis, he told Jacob he was so hungry. He said, give me that same red pottage, meaning Jacob was about to cook up a pot of beef stew or venison or whatever clean meat it was. And Esau said, nah, or lamb, more than likely, I believe. Esau didn't want to wait for Jacob to cook the stew. He wanted to eat it red. So he said, see that same red pottage, meaning imagine a leg of lamb you cut up, put it in a pot with some potatoes in there, and the white man come from outside and say, give it to me right now. Don't even cook it. Jacob said, damn, well, give me your birthright at least, you nasty bastard. And so whenever you read about pottage, it's a stew. So they took this stew and they put cornmeal in the stew. Now, I'm assuming you brothers have been poor. This is a poor people's thing here. Okay, so imagine if there are tons of tribes. The tribe of Ephraim does this. The tribe from Brazil. Who's the tribe from Brazil again? Asher. They do this too, brother, where they get a pot of stew and just put cornmeal in it to make it thick. For what reason? Because you're poor and it makes it more filling. So now, what does it mean when it says, I'm sorry, do I need to read some more? You read 41. What does 42 say?
Verse 42. And there came a man from Bashalah and brought the man of God bread of the first fruits, 20 loaves of barley, and full ears of corn.
Gotcha. So that's all I need. So now, what does it mean when it says there was no harm in the pot? What does that mean? Do you know?
Sorry, sir, if I may.
Go ahead.
As you just said, that he put the cornmeal into the pot, so that way the brothers can be able to eat the pottage.
So what does it mean? So translate that term for me. There was no harm in the pot. So if there was no harm in the pot, what was in the pot?
Death.
if there was no harm. Is that what it said, right?
Come on, con.
If there was no harm in the pot, then what was in the pot?
Harm.
There was no harm in the pot.
Harm.
That's what it says. Am I right? I'll go back
Come
and
on,
look.
con.
So, Salaki, sir, would it be lawful ingredients in the pot?
If there was no harm in the pot, you got to kind of use to understand the spiritual language it's speaking in.
Mhm.
If what's the opposite of harm?
Oh well, there was life in the pot.
There was life in the pot. There was the pot. The stew was good. It was good. That's what it means. It doesn't mean it took the cornmeal didn't get rid of poison. But when they put that cornmeal in the pot with that beef, oh, it was good. That was good. That's what it means. When it says there was no harm in the pot. That's the Bible's way of saying that stew was good. No harm in that pot.
Okay.
Good. They ate. And remember, they're hungry, which is why the next verse is going into how they brought the first fruits in, because they needed this first fruits. They needed this crop to come in. They were hungry. And remember, who is he feeding? He's feeding the sons of the prophets. One, the fact that they were called sons of the prophets lets you know that they know where prophets come from. Prophets come from men who have sons who have prophets, because the prophets are reincarnated into this earth. That's why these men were called sons of the prophets, because if you're a prophet, then your great-great-grandfather must have been one, because that's where they come from. If you're a prophet of God, then Elijah must be in your lineage. Ezekiel must be in your lineage. Moses, Aaron in your lineage. Hosea in your lineage, because prophets come from the prophets of old. The prophets of today are the prophets of old. So you're the sons of the prophets. And the sons of the prophets were working hard, and they were on the run because they were being persecuted. They were being, I believe in Kings, they were being persecuted by Jezebel or someone else. But they were on the run and they were hungry. This person sat down, man, made them a big pot of stew, thickened it with cornmeal. There was no harm in that pot. You understand me?
Come on, God.
No harm in that pot, brother. That stew was good. You understand me?
Come on, God.
This is how blacks and Latinos talk. Oh, there was no harm in that pot. That pot was full of what's good. That was delicious. So good, the Bible remembered it. It's remembered all throughout damn generation, because there was no harm in that pot. That's the point. You understand?
Come on, God.
Go ahead, General.
Anything else?
Lie, sir. Not for right now, the one.
So, like you said, the sister who had that question earlier said the water, sir, and she said, I would also like to know, can a husband keep a wife from going to Passover?
Can a husband, now let me ask you a question. Is your husband trying to keep you from going to Passover? Whenever she's ready, I'll answer.
Come.
Anything else?
So we have a few more questions in the comments. Sister asks, Salaki, sir, were all the souls that existed all here from the beginning, or were more souls created, and where do they come from?
All the souls from the beginning are the same souls here. That's it. The souls from the past are the souls here. That's in the book of Ecclesiastes. All right. If you want it, you can get it to the sister. That which was before, the same as, you know what I'm talking about.
There's nothing new under the sun.
Solid. Every soul that is here right now was here before. There's no new person on this planet. None. If you're on this planet right now, you were here before. And the people that will be born in the future, they are the people that were here today. That's how it works. That's how it works with all living things. Every living thing that is alive, it was alive before. And the spirit comes back again as the body of a thing is renewed. It's how farming works. It's how the plants keep coming back, and it's how people keep coming back. Everyone that is here now was here before. Everyone that will be here is here already. Brother, we'll get the precept for the sister, all right?
Come.
Whenever the sister gets my answer about whether or not her husband is keeping her from the Passover, please let me know, all right? Is there anything else?
Colonel Khan, let me see if the sister said, I was told he can.
Right. Is your husband keeping you from the Passover? That's my question, sweetness. Just answer the question, please. Okay, until she answers, just keep going.
Colonel Khan. Another question in the comments. Brother asks, if I could, sir, can I get a general breakdown on 1 Corinthians 11 and 14, Baba Kushal Watawata?
Absolutely, yeah. Whenever you're ready, you can read it.
1 Corinthians 11 and 14. Does not even nature itself teach you that if a man have long hair,